Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to one more episode of Brand Fia's popular video series Incroyable Cuisine, an artistic approach to hot food main courses. Winter has set in and I felt that it is a perfect time to have a nice barbecue. When it comes to European food, a classic buffalo steak is the best barbecue that you can have as a main course. So today I will be presenting to you the buffalo steak with a very unique and different approach when it comes to the presentation. Before I play the mise en place video, I would first put my steak for char grilling, as it would take a while before it gets cooked. So I've got my buffalo steak here. It's hammered so that it's nicely tenderized. Some crushed pepper and salt for seasoning. I've got my charcoal grill ready. Now make sure it is nice and hot, because we also require those grill marks coming onto your steak. There, let the steak sit in there. We generally take an order from the guest as to how they would prefer to like their steak to be. We have rare, we have medium done, or medium well done, or well done. I generally prefer a medium well done. For an Indian palate, it is perfectly fine. However, it's up to individual's choice as to how they would prefer to eat their steak. Right, so by the time the steak is getting cooked, I'll probably ask my assistant to look into it. We are going to cook it for medium done. Meanwhile, we'll just have a look at the mise en place. Right, so I've used a tenderloin of buffalo. To make a steak, we probably cut into the equal size portion and hammer it so that it becomes nice and tender, and of course evenly shaped too. I'm going to be serving it with a peppered hollandaise. Hollandaise goes well with steak. I'll also be serving it along with a compound butter. Hollandaise, of course, clarified butter, egg yolks. You emulsify the sauce, and then later on finish it off with lemon juice to give a little bit of stability. I'm also making a beet ink today. The same procedure as the earlier ones, what we have done for red pepper or probably the red cabbage. So beetroot, which is nicely blended into a puree form, and then you take out the entire juice from the beetroot, and then keep reducing it till it forms a nice ink. So basically the ink is in a way where you can probably use it as a paint, and I would be using it to paint. So make sure you keep stirring it so that it doesn't burn, and keep reducing it till you get it becomes like an ink. Cauliflower puree, because your steak is going to be the texture of the steak is not going to be so soft. So just to add to the smoothness onto the plate for the texture, I would be using some cauliflower puree. So cauliflower sauteed in butter, seasoned of course with salt and pepper, and then blended into a very fine puree. And since I'm going to pipe it, I'm also going to later on cook it a little while so that I get nice peaks when I put it onto my plate. For the accompaniments, I'm going to use long beans. Generally, beans are served along with one green vegetable. Generally goes with the steak, so I'm using the long beans. I've got a nice asparagus spear to go along with it. Potatoes. I'm going to use two forms of potatoes. One is I'm going to use the baked potatoes, which you generally, that's a classic option that you probably have. And then the Hasselback potatoes, where you just slice the potatoes, apply a little bit of butter, and then bake it in the oven. Make sure that you bake it on a bed of salt so that there is even heat which is spread during the cooking process. Some cherry tomatoes which I'm going to blanch it and also got all my ingredients set here. So this is the turner that I'm going to use. I've got my beet cake. The beet gives a nice, lovely red color, quite appealing to the eye. You can probably say that red is definitely my weakness. Well, I'm a Taurian and bulls love red. They charge when they see red. You'll probably find a lot of red being used on my plates most often. I've got my asparagus here. Probably need to take out my potatoes which are sitting in the oven. So there you go. I've got my Hasselback potatoes. My baked potatoes which I'm now going to cut and tomatoes. Got my cauliflower puree. Carrots, baby carrots. Put some chives. Baked potatoes generally go with sour cream, so I'm also going to be piping some sour cream. Some rosemary here. Some chives on top of my cream. beans. We've got some pink peppercorns. One more ingredient which goes very well with steaks. The peppercorn sauce is most preferable too. Some micros. We've got some edible flowers. And my tui. So I've broken down my tui into smaller pieces. So one of my slicer tray, the accompaniments is set, coming to the plate. I would first have my sauce. My hollandaise, it's going to be pepper hollandaise, so I'm going to sprinkle crushed pepper on top. Crushed pepper. As I've said, I've created a different plate to place this. We've got a board on which this plate is going to sit. I'm also using my whisk on which I have placed the bread. I'll be piping a little bit of butter also on the whisk itself. You can probably see the steak knife also sitting there. My steak is grilled. I'm just going to wrap this steak with my beans. Let's give it a twist. show you wipe your plate before you present it to the customer. Finally, I'm going to be only putting my butter, the compound butter. I have made some nice mustard butter. Where's my, can I have the tongs please? Yeah. To give that charcoal effect, I'm also going to be using one of my light charcoals. Right. Finally, the compound butter, mustard butter. And there we go. Some wine to go along. And to give that experience to the guest, we would give a nice smoky effect. To your plate. So there we go. We've got the nice classical buffalo steak being presented in a very unique and different way. You probably see me creating my own plate this time, using the slicer and the whisk. As chefs, we need to come out with out-of-the-box ideas to ensure that the guest gets a lovely experience. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking and sharing our videos. Have a nice weekend. It's a barbecue weekend, so make sure that you cook some barbecue this weekend. I will be back again next Tuesday. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye.